everybody, Anya Keister here, and if you've watched my videos before, you may be wondering where I am and what is going on. I am in my bathroom because I am here to talk a little bit about what it's like to foster cats and the process that I do when fostering cats and kittens. A lot of this got started way back when. I have two very good friends who live in Philadelphia, Karen and Dan. And they were the first people that really kind of turned me on to the idea of fostering. They foster dogs and cats down in Philadelphia through PAWS, the Philadelphia Animal Welfare Society. I'll look that up. But basically because it's Philadelphia, they have a house as opposed to New York City where everybody lives in apartments for the most part. And in their house, they're able to kind of adopt whole litters of kittens. So they would often get a mother who would have had her litter, or sometimes they would have her and she would have the litter there. And then they would help raise the kittens and get them adopted. And this is great. Actually, one of my permanent cats, Serena, is one of the kittens from a litter from one of the mothers that they had helped raise and the litter that went with it. So they first kind of got me into the idea of fostering kittens. What really kind of sealed the deal for me was that the bodega, which is New York slang for corner store, of my building, one day I went in there and while I was food shopping, I heard this really cute little meow. And I went to go check, and what it was is that there was a very small, tiny little kitten back there. And I asked if I could pick it up, and I held it, and it was just really small, and it was very shivering. It wasn't doing super well. And when I talked to them, they said that it had been a kitten, that the details are slightly unclear, but that it was a kitten that had gotten caught in a glue trap, and so it had been abandoned by the rest of its family. And they were taking care of it, so the back of its tail still had like pieces of glue in it, and it wasn't looking great, and it was just crying the entire time. And I grew up on a farm with cats, so we often would have very small kittens and pregnancies and things like that on the farm. And I asked them if they had any experience with taking care of kittens, and they didn't. So basically I was going down there every day, and I was trying to, it still needed to be bottle fed, because it was so small, and it was just really, really cold. Even though it was probably like March or May here in New York City, they were just keeping it in a cardboard box on concrete. So it was very, very cold, so I would take down towels for it. I was bottle feeding it. I was trying to clean it. I went down there and I cut the glue out of it using some fingernail scissors, but it still wasn't doing great. And they really didn't know what to do. And I was kind of getting tired of going down every day, and then the food department came. Now in New York City, it's very common to have a bodega cat. Lives in the store and kind of helps take care of the mice, and people love to come and pet them, etc., etc. But if your bodega makes food, you can get busted for it. So ours did, and they said, hey, we have to get rid of this kitten. Do you want to possibly take care of it? So I did. We were keeping it on a heating pad, and we were feeding it, but I had to leave for a trip. And we didn't really know what to do with the kitten. I had a friend, Siri, who, thank you, Siri. She's amazing. She's also taken in a bunch of rescue cats. She took care of the kitten for a week, kept it on a water bottle heater, and was able to kind of help it thrive. We took it back and eventually adopted it out to our other friend, Zelma, who now has this kitten. His name is Orlando, and he's glorious, and I will post a glorious photo of him right here. Oh, he's so floofy and so beautiful and so wonderful. Ugh, beautiful cat. But so after doing that, my partner and I realized that having cats around the apartment was actually really good for us. It kind of helped give us something to bond over. It helped with just kind of feeling blue because there's always kittens, and it felt really good to be helping these animals get off the streets and get taken care of and go into homes. So at that point, we decided that we wanted to start fostering. I was able to contact a friend named Amelia, who I met actually when I was on the show Ink Masters. She was one of the other people on the show. I contacted her because I know that she had a lot of cats, and she did cat fostering as well in New York City. And I was connected with Brooklyn Animal Action. I will put their logo right here. So once I did that, basically what I had to do was fill out an adoption form so they could see information about, you know, how I care for cats, if I have a vet, I had to give 2 references and things like that. And once I was approved, they basically set me up with having a foster kitten or a foster cat. Originally, we started with only having 1 at a time, which was fine when they were really small cats. But as we were getting cats of different ages in the cat foster system, sometimes we would take 2 if they were like brothers and sisters and they were really small, or we would take 2 if it was a cat that needed somebody to bond with, because we have 2 older cats. We have Cat Damon and Serena McKitten, and they are 8 and 9, so they do not necessarily bond super well with baby kittens all the time. Sometimes they help take care of them, sometimes they do not. Sometimes we would take in 2 cats if they were bonded or if they needed another cat to bond with. We have been fostering for over a year, maybe almost even a year and a half. I want to say we've probably adopted out 13 to 14 cats at this point. Let me see if I can name them all. I can't. There's been a lot. I will post lots of pictures of them here so you can see all the different cats that we've adopted out over the time. And it's been really fun. We've also learned a lot over this process of fostering cats, and that is why I wanted to make this video here for you all. So now that I've talked a little bit about my personal story with fostering, let's talk about how you would get into fostering. Like I already said, typically what you would do is you'll find an animal group, either one that catches animals off the street, traps them and cares for them that way, or one that gets them out of shelters, or one that's a combination of both of them. You will connect with them. For Mayan Brooklyn Animal Action, what they do is they connect me with kind of like my contact. This is my person that I go to that I will get cats from and things like that. Like I said, I had to fill out the adoption forms so that they can make sure that I'm a trustworthy person who can take care of these animals and have like a vet I can take them to and know how to care for them, and then I'm not going to harm them and things like that. Now, different foster organizations will have different roles that people will play in getting the animals adopted. The one that I work through will have weekly adoption events at Petco's. So if you sign up to do it, one of the rules is that you have to be willing to take the animal to these adoption events so that they can be shown off. I have to send photos to my contact person so they can get them listed on Pet Finder, and sometimes I have home visits from people who are interested in adopting the animal, so they'll come into my house, meet them, I'll show off the cat, answer any of their questions, and sometimes they adopt them there, or sometimes, you know, we have to take the cat to their house later if they want to adopt it. Some like fostering organizations make you have to set up the Pet Finder webpage, make you have to try to find the people, things like that. So that's a thing to look into if you're thinking of fostering, is finding out what you have to do to help the animal get adopted and see if it's a level of commitment you're willing to do. So that's happened, and now you're going to get a foster animal. So what do you do? One of the things you're going to have to do is you're going to have to prepare your house to bring in a new animal. For our example, we often get kittens or younger cats. So what we have to do is we start them off in the bathroom, which is why I am here in the bathroom. One of the reasons we do this is because it gives them a private space that they can get used to and adapt to. Our bathroom doesn't have that many hiding spaces, so we can typically keep a good visual on them. It also allows us to keep the litter box in the bathtub so that if the animal isn't completely litter trained or gets sick or has a lot of spills or anything like that, it's easy to clean up. Yes, it does get annoying because it means that anytime you want to take a bath or a shower, you have to remove all of the stuff and put the cat back in a carrier so that you can shower, but it's just easier cleanup in general. A lot of times the cats are big enough that they'll start to climb out of the tub and kind of spend their time in the bathroom, and that's great. They're getting their territory, they're learning the space, and they're being able to kind of get a smell of the area to know that they're safe. Part of getting a foster animal is socializing it and making it comfortable and be able to approach people. We've often gotten feral cats or trapped cats off the street that are not super friendly. So there's lots of ways that we can kind of help to make it a little bit easier for the cat. There's things like forced socialization, which is, taking the cat out, holding it, petting it, letting it know that you're safe. Some people will even kind of wrap the cat up if it's a cat that tends to attach or attack, and just like soothing it. You can take like a warm, wet washcloth and just kind of clean it, almost as if it's its mother's tongue. So less petting and more kind of like abrasive with a warm, wet washcloth, which kind of mimics the tongue. For some kittens, that's very soothing. A lot of times it's kind of petting the cat in this area, which they'll find very relaxing. Also sometimes incorporate feel away, which I will put like a little picture of it here so you can see it. Feel away will come in a spray or a diffuser. We currently have a diffuser going because we just got new cats, or new kittens today. This basically releases feline pheromones into the air, so it makes the cats feel safer via the smell, because cats have a lot of olfactory kind of intuitions. So this will make the cat feel a little bit more comfortable. Feel away is also really good for cats that are territorial or cats that do a lot of marking, aka like urinating on your stuff. This can help with relaxing the cat that way. Another thing that we do is we'll often, if the cat kind of climbs into a space, we will just, my partner and I will spend time just kind of laying on the ground, to socialize. A very scared animal will, just kind of lay on the ground, bring a book, listen to some podcasts, and just spend the time there, so the cat gets a feel and knows that you're not going to get away. A lot of times they'll start to approach you, they might smell you. You can put a hand out so they can kind of get a sense of your smell and know what's going on, and just let them approach you. We watched a lot of the show My Cat from Hell, done by Jackson Galaxy, to kind of learn a lot of these cat behaviorist tricks. So another thing is you can do a slow blink around them. Cats, when they feel safe and secure, will blink really slowly at each other, so they know that it's safe versus like fast blinking. So if we have a really scared cat, we'll lay on the floor, look at the cat, spend 2 or 3 hours there just looking at the cat, slowly blinking. I will sometimes come in and take naps in the bathroom on the floor. It's not super comfortable. It's New York City. It's a very small bathroom, but that gets the cat kind of more used to you and knows that you're not a threatening presence. I've also had some luck with very small kittens who are very scared, playing YouTube videos of cats purring, because they kind of hear it and they feel like it's more safe, and they'll kind of come out to see what's going on, and then you can pet them and things like that. Now, another reason that we'll often keep them in the bathroom is just because it helps to separate our adult cats so we can slowly integrate. Once the new fosters have gotten kind of a lay of the bathroom and they feel comfortable here, what we do is we'll open up the space. So we open it up into like a small hallway that's blocked off, so our adult cats can kind of look in and jump in and smell them and then like jump out, but the cats are too small to do it. This helps to introduce the two. You want to slowly integrate your pets with the smaller ones so that they can get used to each other and kind of create the pecking order that they need to, so that all of the cats can integrate fully and comfortably. If you just let a new cat out into a space, often they'll run and they'll hide. Sometimes they won't come out for a while. Growing up, this was a problem when we would bring in feral cats. They'd often like crawl into the walls, and then you'd have to knock down part of the wall to get the cat out, which I don't recommend. The slow integration helps. So for us, we do, a few days in the bathroom, and then a few days with the bathroom in the hallway, and then the bathroom, the hallway, and the bedroom, and then eventually the whole apartment space. But by that point, the cat has gotten very used. They know our smell, they know the smell of our other cats, so they feel safe and they don't feel the need to run and hide. Another reason though that you want to keep the cats separated to start is that you want to keep an eye on any foster or feral cat, just for symptoms of contagious things that could pass on to you or to you and the cats. So for example, a very popular one is ringworm. Ringworm is not an actual worm. of any sort. Or even a parasite. It's just a fungus that will show up in like red rings on a human body. On cats, they tend to show up with losing hair on their paws, or losing hair on their nose, or losing hair on their ears, or on their tail. So kind of any of the extremities, sign of ringworm is they will start to lose that fur there. Now, ringworm is a really serious thing. If you don't treat it, it can very easily pass via, it's a fungus. So it'll get into the air and it can pass to your other cats very easily, and it can pass to you. So you want to keep an eye on any new cats you bring in to make sure that they're not having any patches like that. If they do, it's pretty easy to treat. If they're like a kitten that you can pick up, you can just get like an antifungal cream that you would just put on them. You can talk to a vet and get like a liquid medicine that you would just kind of use a dropper to put into their mouth to take. A nice thing about it is that once you start to treat ringworm, typically after 48 hours of treatment, it's no longer contagious, but you want to keep doing the treatment on it so that it fully goes away so you can introduce the cats again. We had this once, it was really dramatic for the entire house because we had 2 kittens. They had it, we had introduced them to the house. They gave it to our adult cats, and basically we just couldn't foster for like 2 months because we had to completely clean out the house. We had to wipe down all the surfaces with bleach wipes, vacuum everything, spray disinfectant. My partner and I never got it, but our cats got it, so we had to wait till it was out of their system. It was a whole ordeal. So it's better to check the foster cats right away for it, make sure they don't have it, treat them if they do. It's not the worst case scenario, but it's another reason that it's good to keep them in the bathroom, because it's a lot easier to disinfect a bathroom than it is to try to like sterilize a couch or your bedding or anything like that. Another thing you want to check for is worms, parasitical worms. There's several different kinds of worms that cats can get. They often get on the street. The thing that's hard about it is that they can get it and it won't show up for a little while. Mothers can pass it on to their babies. They can get it from food. They can get it from fly larvae, stuff like that. If it happens, it's not the worst case scenario. Some people are a bit squeamish about it because it can be kind of gross. But basically you just want to check to see if their stomach gets very bloated after they eat, but otherwise they're very gaunt and skinny. That can kind of be a sign of worms, because basically what happens is they eat the food, the worms take all of that food for themselves, and then they just kind of live in there. In a really worst case scenario, such as the bodega cat that we had, we didn't know that that cat had worms, and I feel really bad, and I apologize a lot to the people who took care of them, because, you know, the worm infestation was really bad and they had to get them dewormed, which can be trickier when it's a kitten because the amount of dosage has to be a little bit more delicate so the cat doesn't get sick. But you want to keep an eye on that for a worm. Of course, there's always things, you know, like fleas. You also need to get the cat tested for feline leukemia and feline AIDS. If you're working through a foster organization, they should have a vet check for all of those things beforehand, because those are things that are going to be very contagious with other animals that you have. Humans don't have to worry about it. But if, you know, they touch noses or saliva with any of your other pets, well, any of the other cats in this case, it can spread, and that very much can shorten the life of a cat. So you want to check on all of those things. So it's good to keep them segregated so you can get a feel for it and then integrate them together. So a few other things that I feel is important to know before fostering a cat is that, one, it's going to be really sad to give up the cat for adoption. This is actually one of the reasons too that my partner and I decided we wanted to start fostering, is that we wanted to be able to help and kind of get over this attachment to pets. That's not to say that we don't love them, but the number one question I get asked all the time in regards to fostering kittens is like, oh, but how do you give them up for adoption? It must be so sad. It must be so hard. I would never be able to foster because I can never give up a cat. Yeah, it is really hard. It's really sad. The first foster that we ever gave away, which was named Mars Bar, cute. We took the cat to an adoption event. Woman adopted. We stood in the Petco for like 45 minutes and just cried because we were really sad to give up this really small kitten that we had taken care of. And it was really sad. It was really hard. But you know what? Each cat that we get now is a little bit easier. It gets to the point now where a cat gets adopted and we feel a little sad about it, but you know what? It feels really good to know that that cat is going to a home where they're going to be loved and they're going to be taken care of for the rest of their life, as opposed to living on the street. And you know, we're giving this happiness to them. I love staying in contact with the adopters. We have an Instagram account. I will put the Instagram right here so you can see it if you ever want to see pictures or videos of any of our foster kittens. This is where you can find them. But I follow the people who adopt the cats so I can go back and I can see them and I can comment. And you know, I just recently got to see a picture of a very beautiful Siamese cat that we had fostered and got adopted, and it's a picture of him under the Christmas tree. And it's, you know, it feels really good to know that you're helping bring happiness to other people and bringing a pet into their life. So, you know, it's gonna be really sad, but for me personally, it was a great moment of growth to be able to take care of an animal and then be able to give it away. We have our 2 permanent cats. If we were to take on a 3rd cat, we would not be able to foster anymore. And I would rather help these animals get off the street and find homes where they're taken care of than just have another cat. That's my story. It might not be for everybody, but it's a thing to definitely know. So with all of this in mind, let's kind of meet the new cats that we have. We just picked up 2 new foster kittens today. We have named them Pearl and Amethyst, and they are adorable little sisters. Now, one of them, Amethyst, who's the very floofy one, had some intestinal issues and went to the vet and is on the mend, but currently her back part is shaved, so she looks a little weird and wonky. So let's kind of look at the setup that we keep when we keep animals in here. Please don't judge my bathroom. I tried to keep it clean, but you know, with getting new fosters, you don't always have time to scrub your tub and things like that. But yeah, let's go look. So here is what our tub looks like. What we do is we'll kind of lay some towels down on the ground. There's a little water dish. We keep the litter box underneath the spigot there so that any extra litter that comes out we can easily brush down or sweep it up. Typically on the day that we bring the cats home, we'll keep the carrier that they came in there with them at first so they can sit in there if they want to and get comfortable. It gives them a little bit of a space to be able to acclimate better. It will be, you know, the first thing that they experience, so letting them hold on to that longer is good. But like I said, so we'll keep a water dish in there. Ooh, focus, there we go. And put some towels down on the tub for extra warmth. Now these cats we did take out and socialize, so we can kind of take this out because they decided that they wanted to hang out in their new little bed area. So you want to get a little cat bed for them. Let's see if we can. Oh, hi there, babies. How you guys doing, little floofs? So, you know, we keep a cat bed in there so it's warm. I like one that has a little bit of a cover, like we refer to this one as the clam. But this gives them a space to stay nice and warm and kind of sit inside. And then we'll just spend some time socializing with them. These little babies. Hi, guys. So that is Pearl. This is Amethyst. And you know, we just gotta give them some time to hang out in there and get used to it. But you can see this space also gives them a lot of warmth. So a lot of times when they're small like this, letting them have the warmth is going to be important. They're gonna need it because they're tiny and they're growing and they're scared. Giving them the space and warmth is good. But yeah, so this is kind of how we set up the tub. We will feed them in this space, you know, put some food down there. Wet food to start. An easy food to start with is Fancy Feast Kitten Food Wet. It comes with cat milk already in it, so it's good for cats that are a little bit hesitant to eat. You're so cute. Just stay with the wet cat food for quite a while. You can eventually start to mix in some dry kibble if you want, but I would say definitely start with wet. Keep with wet for a while. I would say don't move to dry until they're much older. If you need to do dry for a while, just mixing some water with it so that the kibble softens up a bit and they can eat it and it's not too hard. Some kittens, because their mouths are still really small, are going to need to have it broken up so small pieces. Make sure you're getting the kitten food too. You need something that's high in fat and high in the vitamins that little baby kittens will need. So that is that. So let's pull out some kittens so you can see them. So this is Pearl. Hey Pearl. Oh, look at this little baby. Good job looking at the camera. She has a very thick coat. Oh, I'm so in the dark right now. She has a very thick coat. Unlike her sister, which is long-haired, she's still very, very, very furry. She is definitely more scared. She definitely wants to go back into the clam. So let's go back into the clam. Floofy Amethyst. Here's Amethyst. Oh. Can you look into the camera? No. There we go. Hi. So this is Floofer Amethyst. As I said, she's been shaved in the back because she had a little bit of surgery. Because she's long-haired, one of the things that we're gonna have to work on with her is getting her used to baths and showers. Typically the way that we do this little two-person system is I will take her into the shower with me. We will use like a baby soap and kind of wash her, and then with nice warm water so she never gets too cold, and then hand her off to my partner who will start to towel dry her immediately so she doesn't get too cold or shivery. It's just because she has this long fur, I know that she's gonna get funky. I know she's probably gonna get stuff matted in her fur. I know that she's not going to know how to clean right away. So the bath is also really good because once they're drying off, it teaches them that they have to lick themselves clean, lick themselves dry. So it's good. Oh, floofy. So it's good practice for them. You want to go back? Yeah? You want to go back in? Okay. Goodbye, baby. Oh, let's take you back. Oh, doo-doo, floofers. There you go. Hang out with your sister. So that's about it for it. You also, since I just handled the kittens, because like I was saying before with contagious stuff, as soon as I finish, I'm going to wash my hands with hot water and like a soap, so that when I go back out into, I forgot I was wearing my glass. Yeah, so I'm going to wash them when I go back out into the regular part of my apartment. I'm not accidentally passing on anything that could be contagious to our adult cats. Until we can keep a better eye on these two, since we just got them today. So basically over the next couple of days, I'm just going to be spending it socializing with them, bringing my work in here, spending a lot of time in here so they can get used to us before we integrate them with the adult cats. If you have any questions about fostering cats, leave them down in the comments below and I will answer them for you to the best of my ability. Something to keep in mind is each cat is different, much like every person is different, so you can't always predict how a cat will react. I can answer to the best of my ability. Also, each foster organization is going to be different, so I can answer to my experience and give advice to that. But, if you're interested, just reach out to a foster organization near you and find out what you would need to do to help out. That's gonna be all. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, press that thing that looks like a bell, all that good YouTube razzmatazz jazz. Do it all for me, and that's gonna be all. So once again, thank you, and I hope this inspires some of you to go out and do foster work with animals, because it's very, very rewarding. It's work, but it has totally enriched my life so much, and I'm so glad I got to do it, and I hope it inspired some of you. So, bye!